Hello and welcome back to my creative space here in Monifieth Manse, and we're on to yet another week of making stars. These ones you can do in slightly two different ways. They're called 3D stars when I looked them up. So you can see I don't know how you can see this on the screen, but they're 3D. You see them from above, that they're squishy. So this one's made out of paper. And this one's made out of card. You can do either, though I have to say the folds are easier to do in paper, although the finished 3D sits better in card, so it depends on what you want to use. You can also use this and then flatten them just to create flat ones, because I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to stick 3D stars on my window, but we'll see how we do. So there's a couple of 3D stars that have been flattened so that they'll just sit on the windows. These are quite plain looking. Obviously, it is up to you if you want to use your imagination and jazz them up and colour or draw or glitter or whatever. Do what you wish. But I'll talk you through how to make these, and then you can let your imaginations run riot. So I'll put these to one side. Like a lot of our paper-based makes, we need a square, and most of us have access to A4 paper rather than squares. So just a reminder, this is my template for making a square, 21.1 centimetres. And so I haven't got a pink star yet from here, so I've got a piece of pink paper. And what I've been doing, you can do it whichever way you like, but what I've been doing is putting my template on top, putting my ruler there, and then I've got one of these propelling mechanical pencils that don't propel any lead and anything anymore, but it's got like a little point. So what I do is I just press really hard down through there, and then on my page underneath I've got like a little mark for where the square will be. Now I need to get myself a pair of scissors, which are just behind me, and cut this into a square, and then we are ready to do it. I think I might fold this as well, actually, just so it's more obvious. There we go. Now again, if you have access to actual square paper, you are doing better than I am, and by all means use this, but you can just create your own out of A4. The downside is obviously what we do with all these spare bits of A4 paper. Bookmarks? I don't know. Anyway, so here we are. And this 3D star is done entirely by folding and a cut. So I invite you to follow closely. We're going to fold the square in half to start with, and I've just noticed my square isn't perfect, but then who is perfect? We're going to do it as if we're going to fold it in half again, but all we're wanting to do is line up those edges and just put a wee mark there so that we know where the halfway point is, and that's what we're going to use again in a minute. We're going to take one corner and fold it down to that mark. I'll lay it along, so we're going to, it's like where that half of square is, and then we're going to do the opposite corner up to that point and there. Okay, so what we have is on one half, as if it's a mini square, a fold on the diagonal like a St Andrew's cross. Okay, then what we're going to do, we're going to take this bottom folded corner here, and we're going to fold it into where those two folds cross over. So into the middle of that cross, you put that bottom folded corner. Okay. Now this is where you can start going cross-eyed if you don't follow closely. That corner we've just folded in, we're going to fold back out again to make like a kite along that edge. Okay, so we folded in half, we've created a centre, We folded one corner in, then the other to create a wee cross in that half. We folded this bottom corner in to that crossover point, and then we folded that same bit out to meet the outside edge. Okay. The next thing we're going to do is take this corner, and we're not going to use this fold. We're going to bring this up to match this fold here. Okay. Like that. And the final fold we're going to do is we're going to fold it in half this way. So that point that we've created is going to stay a point, but we're folding it in on itself. And you end up, so that's what it was like, folded over, and you end up with this kind of weird, like a ice cream cone with a flake sticking out or something. Okay? Then this is where we need to take our scissors, and we're going to do one cut. And we're going to, the best thing to do is to point, put the point away from you, and you see where the first bit is there. That's where we're going to start our cut, and we're going to cut down this way. And depending on how pointy or otherwise you want your star to be will depend where you put your cut. So if you put your cut along here, you'll have quite a fat looking star, like this one. And if you put your cut quite sharp, you'll end up with something even pointier than this one. Okay, so if I'm going to do it like this to start with, just to let you see. This is the bit that's going to end up our star. We put this to one side, and if you can't use it for other things, please put it in the recycling bin. And when we open this up, we get, as I suggested, it almost doesn't look like a star. It's kind of beefy. So if I fold that back up again and put it back to where it was, like this, with the folds in there and the point there, then if you do it and it's not the way you like it, you're better starting fat and going pointier, because once you've pointed, you can't go back again. So she says, I'm going to cut it a little bit pointier. So again, use those for something else or put in the recycling bin. And here we have a much pointier star. The other one was a star, but this one just kind of feels a little bit more like a star. So you could, if you're going to keep it nice and flat at that point, either put a book on it or something to try and flatten it. What I did with mine, and if you're of the younger generation, you need to be careful and speak with an adult to do this. I took quite a low iron and ironed it. So I put it on a low to medium heat in the iron and ironed it, and that helped make it nice and flat. To make it really pop 3D, you need to play with some of the folds. So some of the folds are already the way you need it to make it 3D. Basically what we want is all the folds that go out to the points to be popping up and all the folds in between to be down. And make those folds nice and strong. So even if they're already done that, do it. So once you've got two, put them in between and make that flat. See how this one is actually going down the way, so I need to put that up the way, and then the one between it nice and flat. That one needs to go flat. Oops. And this one needs to go pointy. That was me trying to cut corners. It's better if you do the up bit first and then the down one. Up bit first and then the down one. And once that's all done, you have a nice 3D star. And you, as I said at the beginning, you can decorate this any way you wish or not at all. I've wondered about whether it's possible to make two the same and then stick them back to back somehow so it's 3D on both sides. So like this. I don't know. Ooh. So have a play, have a bit of fun, and enjoy making your 3D stars. And I'll see you next time. Bye.